Okay, this is a second video. I just talked about some stuff in the last video. I don't even know what I'm going to call these videos because I just get on here and I talk. And I've had a couple of people who subscribe, and a buddy of mine, he says, I like your knife videos and I like your bushcraft videos and stuff like that. He says, but you know, I really like those videos where you just sit down and talk about things. And I have noticed that there are more likes on those type of videos rather than outdoors videos. I don't know why. Maybe because I don't have the ability to do a lot of long outdoor videos where I go out and camp and other things and edit and all. I don't have time for all that stuff. You know, I'm sorry, but we are not living in a world now to where I can enjoy going out and just camping. I don't have that luxury right now. Part of my daily life is preparing for world problems, and another part is sharing my views about world problems because they are just compounding, right? It's just been an exponential thing. Each day things are crazy stuff from every direction, and if you are not watching, if you're sticking your head in a hole in the ground, you know, I can't help you. And watching these videos and giving me a thumbs down because you don't like what I have to say, well, I can't help you about that either. You're the one who is looking the other way, or is closing your eyes, or is pretending that the world is normal. The world hasn't been normal for decades, to be honest. It has not been normal for decades. I would say at least 50 years. The world the world started taking a real change during the hippie era. You know, they you know, all this demonic espousing of certain things, and people going wild with their carnal behaviors and everything. I mean, all that started in the 60s, and it's gone downhill ever since. So another thing that I'm gonna do is years ago I used to have a get home bag. I used to have a get home bag years ago. I always carried one anyway. I always had a bag on me for years, and so that particular type of bag is going to change depending on where you are and where you're going, right? So I'm going to talk about the get home bag. I have talked about bug out bags, get out of Dodge bags, etc. before, telling you how to be able to go from your current location, which it would be in general your home. If it gets this bad that you have to leave your house and I'm never coming home type thing, right? And you have to go to a pre-arranged location, that's getting out of Dodge, that's your bug out bag. I'm never coming home bag. But the problem with the I'm never coming home bag is that it generally people will make those bags huge because they haven't thought it through. I hate to say that, but they haven't really thought it through. Or maybe they just don't have the ability to do it right. Okay, so um, because of financial reasons. Okay, so there are people that just, you're not. It could be a very expensive endeavor to bug out. If you have a plan to go from your home to a piece of land, a cabin, that sort of thing. Okay, out in the boonies, all right, and out in the sticks somewhere. That could be a costly endeavor. And if you have that idea, in mind, you should have already done it, or you should be really just doing it right now, because in the very near future, there's just not going to be time to set up a proper I'm never coming home uh, procedure, which would mean having caches of equipment um, and food and so on along the route, from point A to point B, so that you're not carrying a huge load on your back, right? So I'm going to be talking about my get home bag that I'll be putting together in another upcoming video. It's not going to be in the next video or two. It's probably going to be next week or the week after. Either next week or the week after, probably something like that. And in my situation, see, this is the thing, everybody's situation is going to be different for a get home bag. Because if your get home bag is tailored towards 5 miles, you don't really need much, okay? But if you're geared towards 20 miles, then you're going to need a bit more, because there may be something that causes you to make that 20-mile journey in a much longer period of time, depending on what is going on around you. And this includes being able to drive a vehicle. If you can't drive a vehicle and you have to lock it up somewhere, okay, and then maybe come back later and get it if you can, okay. You may be on foot. I mean, 5 miles is nothing for most people. It should be nothing for most people. I mean, even just walking, 5 miles should be nothing for most people. 20 miles is a little bit harder for your average person. Your average everyday man or woman, 20-mile walk is going to be a little bit rough for them, because they're probably not super fit. They're in their day-to-day routines, and they don't go out and exercise. I don't exercise a lot anymore, other than I have work that I do around the house, because I do grow food, right, for myself, and so on, right. So there is a lot of manual labor. There's also repairing the house, repairing, property, and the buildings on the property, and so on. So I still get exercise in that way. If I had more time, I would, do some rucking. I would do that, but I don't have a lot of time for that. I may end up getting a treadmill, just for that. Just get a little bit more of the cardio in, and so on. But at the same time, you got to remember that I have a lot of muscle memory, and my body knows what it's like to do a lot of long distance marches or running and so on. So I will shed weight pretty quickly, and everything will remember. The Hurt Locker won't last too long to get back in shape. Maybe a month or two, you know. But yeah, so the get home bag has to really be tailored to the individual's needs. It's not like a cut and dried thing. You can just buy it. There's too much of that sort of thing out there anyway, because people don't have any knowledge. A lot of people don't have any knowledge of what they need, how they need to prepare a get home bag or a get out of Dodge bag, a bug out bag. They just don't know what they need to prepare it. So they'll often just look online. Oh wow, this is a get out of Dodge bag, a bug out bag. It's complete. I don't have to think, and I'm gonna buy this. And they get it, and it has, like a bunch of Band-Aids in the medical kit. It has a lot of useless doodads and garbage in it to fill it up so that you feel like you got your money's worth, and 90% of that stuff is a waste of money. It's better to gain the knowledge and to prepare your own bag, okay? And when it comes to a bag, you don't buy a cheap bag, okay? A lot of people will go out and they will buy a book bag. Pick your average big box store brand, and that's their bug out bag. That's their get home bag. They don't want to spend any money on it. They don't want to even spend. They don't want to spend more than $25 or $50 at the very most. And that's a huge mistake. Huge. Because that is your lifeline. If anything happens, that is like gonna help preserve your life while you're on the move, okay? And most of those cheap bags will not last. Even carrying them around from your home to your car to your work to back to your car to back to your home and so on, carrying them around, they will wear out. The straps will fail. The material will get holes. Those are not made for that purpose. And they are made to wear out. They're made from some very flimsy materials, very basic cordura. They're not made from military spec. They're not sewn to military spec. When it comes to this type of bag, you got to put out a little money. I mean, it is. You just have to. There's no getting around it. It's not a cheap endeavor, but it is your life. I tell people this all the time, but they don't listen. They're just cheap, and that's all they think about. Even on a budget, you should be able to save money and do it the right way. I'll see you in another video.